Today we're looking at 20 footwork drills for Longsword. I'm going to do a short warm-up. If you're already warmed up, go ahead and skip ahead to about 1:30. That is where the drills start. If you are going to warm up with me, make sure you get in some shoulder rolls and a couple of quick ankle rolls on both sides. Now doing some parallel squats, keeping your knees over your toes and your shoulders down. You can open up your stance to do a turnout for sumo squats. It's very important here that you keep your knees over your toes. You can do this by pushing your hips open. Here I'm keeping my back relatively straight up and down, almost like a ballet plie, and shoulders down. Now we're going to do some gentle mare lunges, so not lunging too deep, and you're basically just transitioning your body over your front leg and your back leg, pivoting your feet to keep them aligned with your knees. Go ahead and switch to your non-dominant side now, just gentle lunges. All right, that's our warm-up. So for the drills, you're going to see in the upper right-hand corner how many we have completed and how many are left. Lower left corner is a timer, and lower right corner, you'll see the next drill that's up. So getting ready now to do a passing step forward followed by a passing step back, starting with my dominant leg forward. So I like to have my back leg somewhat turned out. Some like to have it a little bit more parallel. That is up to you, personal preference. Just make sure your knee is always aligned over your toe. Trying to keep your front foot facing forward, not turned in. Switching to the non-dominant side now. This one is always a little bit more tricky, but I like to do these drills on both sides. Make sure that your torso is straight and not waving around too much. So we're doing 45-second intervals with 15-second breaks in between, so it's gonna go pretty quickly. Okay, next it looks like we're doing a shuffle step followed by a passing step, and then repeating the same thing backwards. So shuffle forward, shuffle back, pass back. Again, making sure that your upper body is staying straight and not leaning forward at any point. Your balance is in the center. Switching to the non-dominant side, shuffle forward, shuffle back, pass back, shuffle forward, shuffle back, pass back. Here I'm keeping the pace even and the distance even between my feet. This is intentionally. I'm practicing this. You can also do this drill with variation in speed and in the size of the steps that you take. So as you can see up in the upper right hand corner, we've completed 2 rounds. We have 18 remaining. Up next, looks like we have a pass forward, followed by a shuffle forward, pass back, shuffle back. So similar to the last drill, just slightly different. And feel free to do this at a slower pace in order to get the mechanics down, if that's more comfortable for you. Switching to the non-dominant side now. This one was a little tricky for me. It took me a few tries to get it right, so don't worry if you trip up the first few times. It always feels awkward for me to do stuff on my non-dominant side, which is exactly why I do it. Okay, next it looks like we're doing a passing step forward, immediately into a lunge and recover, simulating a parry there, parrying maybe an afterblow. So make sure you're not going directly into the lunge with the front foot. You're actually landing it on the passing step and then going into a lunge. pass, land the foot, lunge, recover. On the lunge, make sure that you are extending with your arms before committing to the lunge. Okay, now we're going into a first intention lunge directly from where we're at, arms first, kind of a deeper lunge. And this time we're recovering forward. So instead of bringing your front foot back, you're bringing your back foot up to your front foot, simulating the parry on your non-dominant side at the same time. Lunge, recover. What I like about the recover forward is that you're maintaining your distance. So here you're lunging, let's say your thrust missed, you recover forward, and then you're in the distance to immediately do a riposte without having to take any further steps forward into your opponent's distance. Making sure you did both dominant and non-dominant there. On some of these drills, we're doing the switch from dominant to non-dominant halfway through. Sometimes we'll do them in 2 separate intervals. Okay, so we're doing a pass forward, gather with the back leg, lunge, and recover forward. So kind of combining the last 2 drills. So we're passing forward, full pass forward, gather, lunge. That gather allows you to gain more distance if you need a little bit more reach to get the lunge in. And then again, we're recovering forward to get into distance further, and always, always parry the after blow. Here, this is a little bit more complicated, so I decided to do it do dominant side for a full round, a full interval. Great, so after this break, we'll be doing the same drill on our non-dominant side. It's okay if this feels awkward or doesn't look as good. For me, it's always harder on the non-dominant side, so give yourself some grace. So that passing, gather step, lunge, recover. My lunge is definitely not as deep here. I feel a little more shaky, so I'm taking it easy. Extend your arms, lunge, recover forward. Now be careful here on the recover forward that you are not leaning too far forward with your torso. It's natural that you're going to lean a little bit. You have a forward momentum, right? You're doing a lunge and you're recovering forward, and then you're also generating some force to catch their blade with your parry. So there's going to be some lean, but just make sure you're not throwing yourself completely forward. Okay, now we are going into some 2 passing steps back, 2 passing steps forward, and gather. So imagine that you're doing a kind of footwork game with your opponent. You're retreating, then they retreat, you move forward, and they maybe launch an attack and you want to parry it, but you're practicing gathering forward on the parry rather than stepping back. So you're remaining in the distance so that as soon as you've parried, you can, again, riposte and have that distance there. You don't have to take any steps forward. I think we have a tendency to step back on the parry, which is natural. You're getting out of the way, but here you're trusting your parry, stepping into it, and you're already in distance to go for the riposte. So for the next drill, we are doing the same thing on our non-dominant side, because again, this is just a little tricky. We want to get those reps in. Pass back, pass forward, gather, and parry, and make sure you are on that gather, sinking into that parry. And notice how we'll do some more force generation and some drills later on, but you're kind of leaning, like you're kind of twisting your hips into it, to, really gather power so that you're able to uncoil and launch the riposte. You'll see what I mean later on. Make sure you have some water nearby. Okay, so as I just said, power generation, we are practicing that now. You are pairing and launching the immediate riposte. So notice how I'm using my hips to sink into that parry. I am pivoting my back foot, keeping my knee and toes aligned. And I'm parry, riposte. I'm not taking any steps. I'm using my hips to generate that power. Importantly, not my arms. The power does not come from the arms, it comes from the hips. Switching to non-dominant side, parry, sink in, gather the power, use that power you've generated. You've soaked into your hips to riposte. Nice and gentle. We are halfway through. As you see in the upper right hand corner, we have completed 10 and we have 10 remaining. So good job so far. Okay, so we are progressing in difficulty level. So we are doing a parry, again, using your hips to sink into the parry. We're doing a passing step offline back. You see, I'm stepping forward with my back leg and then bringing my front leg back. Then we're doing the riposte as we do that offline footwork. And then you parry the after blow by sinking in again to the other side. Make sure that you're keeping your torso centered and not leaning back. It's so easy to lean back when we do offline backwards footwork like this, but this is where you really want to be aware of your upper body, keeping it nice and solid. So let's do that same thing on our non-dominant side. Parry, riposte, offline footwork. Always, always parry the after blow. Now we're doing more or less the same thing, but we're adding the riposte with power generation. So parry, step off line and cut, parry again, and riposte with the hips. So we're kind of, again, combining the last few exercises into one. Parry, step off line, parry, riposte. Parry, step off line, parry, riposte. Keeping your shoulders down the whole time. It's very easy to bring your shoulders up to your ears, especially when you have a more complicated combo like this, but keep your shoulders relaxed. Keeping your torso up and down and always keeping your knees over your toes. Okay, so this time we are doing 2 parries, lunge, recover forward. So imagine they're coming in for a combo, parry, parry, the opening is there. We are thrusting immediately, parry, parry, thrust, and cover the afterblow with a recovery forward. All right, we're doing the same thing on the non-dominant side. So if you're not comfortable lunging with your non-dominant leg, now's a good time to practice. They're coming in for a combo. Parry, parry, extend the arms, lunge, and recover forward into the parry. Now you're in distance to do another riposte if needed. Parry, parry, lunge, recover. Five drills remaining. We are 3/4 of the way there. Okay, so this one is we're basically retreating. So imagine you have somebody who's pushing, 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 pushing. At some point, there's an opening, you immediately take it, you attack on the opening, and you parry the afterblow. So this is more about kind of teaching yourself to change direction quickly. Okay, so it's not about, it's not elegant. This is kind of a messy one, but you're just retreating, retreating, retreating. You just take that opening, whatever window it is, and then always parry the afterblow. So this is more about just teaching yourself to quickly change directions, quickly react. And it's even better if you have somebody signaling for you. So if you have a coach or a friend or somebody who can stand in front of you and give a little hand signal, like raise a hand or clap their hands or something, that will alert you to when you should attack the opening. But if we're on our own, we have to imagine it, which is also totally fine. Okay, so now we are moving into Zwerchhaus, and all I want you to do is imagine you're doing Zwerchhaus nice and gentle, and we're practicing our hip rotation so that we save our knees, keeping our knees aligned over our toes, making sure that we're pivoting our feet as we move, because power from the Zwerchhau comes from the hips, not from the arms. Just nice and easy, and halfway through, switch to having your non-dominant leg forward and keep going. You can do this fast, you can do this slow, whatever you fancy. Making sure your arms are over your head. If you want to do this with a sword, absolutely, by all means, but these drills are meant to be done in a smaller space. If you want to train indoors or if you don't have a sword on you, but the idea is doing some footwork drills without having to have a sword on you. Okay, so now we are imagining that we are opening with a thrust. Our thrust doesn't land or it's parried or whatever. Now we're in distance and we're moving into Zwerchhaus. So make sure when you do that thrust, if you have a sword, you are, as I'm showing here, keeping blade contact and raising your guard above your head so that you are covering your center line to move into those Zwerchhaus. So never drop your sword, never, open the center line. Just thrust, you missed, okay, we're moving up, Zwer. Gathering forward with the thrust, lunge, gather forward, Zwer. Make sure you do both the dominant and non-dominant sides here. Okay, we only have a couple of drills left. Okay, so here we're doing a Oberhau, parry high, and Unterhau. Oberhau, parry high, Unterhau. And doing this with a passing step forward and passing, not full step, passing half forward, passing half back. So make sure when you do this high parry, Oberhau, parry, try and keep your hands high or keep your guard up above your head as you transition into the Unterhau so that you're not. There's a couple here where I'm maybe dropping my guard, my imaginary guard, a little bit too much, exposing my head. You want to try and keep your guard over your head and do a nice, so your head is covered as you do that Unter to their hands, to their torso, whatever is exposed. Next, we'll be doing the same thing on the other side, and that will be our last drill for today. more to come. All right, non-dominant side, for me that's left side. Oberhau, Peri high, hands high, unter. And making sure your knees are always over your toes. Your toes are, your front toe at least is pointing forward. Especially on my non-dominant side, I should have my toe facing a little bit more forward. There's always something to work on to improve. So, a good idea is to film yourself doing these, play them back afterwards, and look at the little details like your posture, your shoulders, your knees and your toes. Things like, are you dropping your guard too much? Play it back for yourself, watch it, and do it again with improvements. Or, just do this to get a little bit of a workout in. That's it. So good job. Go ahead and cool down on your own. I have a video for that.